Said it before, and I'll say it again. 2021 is the new 1776. Or if you are in France, 2021 is the new 1789. If you are living in Africa or the Caribbean, 2021 is the new 1960, 62, 65. All these years have the same thing in common. They are the years when the people stood up against the establishment and they fought and won their freedom and independence. And that's what's happening worldwide. Because 2021 is the world's 1776. And we are fighting back against the New World Order, the deep state, big pharma, big finance, the big Wall Street globalists, all of these people, the individuals are fighting back. And it looks like they're winning. And we have finally figured out that there's more of us than there are of them, and we have almost nothing to lose, and they have everything to lose. We've got everything to gain, and they've got nothing more to gain. So the reason I'm speaking about this is because there's a new revolutionary movement going on out there, and this one is going against the hedge fund managers and the big Wall Street tycoons. And I'm not anti-capitalist. I'm actually very pro-capitalist. I'm a populist capitalist, though. I don't support capitalism that destroys the freedoms financially of the little guy and only gives that freedom to the people on top. And that's what's been happening for years. And small-time amateur investors are fighting back. Now, for those of you who don't know, GameStop, which is a store which was very famous back when I was in high school. I mean, it's not so much anymore. I mean, it's still around, but it looks like it could be going out of business. But GameStop's stock on the stock market has risen to outrageous highs, which it doesn't make sense. It's not because GameStop has made money or anything. It's done because some investment warriors online are fighting back against hedge fund managers who do the same thing to we the people on a regular basis. You can just take a look at 2008. They inflated the market only to make themselves rich and then dump the junk stocks on the rest of us. So GameStop is now up $403.45. 2 or 3 days ago, it was like $12. And now it's $403.45. So there are a lot of people right now who are getting, very average people who are just getting filthy, stinking rich. I even got into it. I'm telling people to be cautious, though. I don't want you, because this thing is going to plummet. But they're making a point. And I'll tell you how they're doing this. First, let me tell you what happened. GameStop was at $12. Now it's at $403. Last night, pre-market trades, it went down to $265, and now it's up $403. So what I did yesterday, I believe, I bought one share of GameStop because I wanted to see what happened. One. Because if I had lost everything, it wouldn't have made a difference, because I've got a lot of money where that comes from. I don't like to talk about that, but, I've got things, and nobody's going to ever know where they are and how to find them. But I bought one share for 200 something, and it went up 380 around the time of the close, and I sold it. So that's like, that stock was amazing. I may do it again, but I want to see. But just one. And that's what I say to do. GameStop stock is overvalued, but this is how they did it. These guys looked for hedge fund companies which are shorting companies like GameStop. And what shorting means is these individuals on Wall Street are betting against GameStop. So when you buy a stock, you bet that it's going to go up so that you can make money off of it. These guys bet that that GameStop stock will go down, and if it goes down, they make money off of that. So what these guys, and the movement is called r/Wall Street Bets, what these guys have done is said, okay, this is how we're gonna get these people. We're gonna jack them up this way. We are going to inflate the price of GameStop, because by inflating the price of GameStop, that will make these hedge fund managers lose tons of money. These guys do this to us all the time. Let's do it to them for a change. They do it to us all the time. So they get people together and tell them, buy as much GameStop stocks as you can, buy it up, inflate it, and then what eventually happens is that the hedge fund managers, they say, whoa, a lot of people are buying GameStop. I'm going to stop shorting this because I don't want to lose any more money than I'm losing. And then as the hedge fund managers back away, what then happens is that the stock goes up even more, because people say, oh, these hedge fund managers, they're not shorting the stock. They're not betting that it's going to go down anymore. Maybe something is right, so I'm going to buy more of this. And as a result, that's what you see. I think it's genius. It's called short squeeze. I think it's genius. Now, I still tell people, because when it comes to the stock market, I want people to be cautious. Not cautious, but when it comes to things like this and your money, I want you to be cautious. That being said, I do feel if you feel that it is right to use your money to take revolutionary action against the New World Order, which Wall Street is a part of. Let me get one thing straight. A lot of people on Wall Street are not capitalists. These guys are people who believe in a feudal system where we have to live in a socialistic type of way, where we have to be scraping by. We're all equally poor. We're all equally living paycheck to paycheck. And they want to keep us that way so that they're more powerful. They're just as rich. These are people who fund the New World Order. These are people who fund things like forced vaccines and all this other stuff, this is what it's all about. And they inflate the market so much. In 2008, they inflated the housing market so much, and then it dumped on us, and we lost everything. They do this to us regularly. And that's why I think that people should invest in gold. And that's what I've started investing in recently, and I plan to do more of that. I think that if you can find a way to invest in gold, do it. Because one thing I am getting more and more certain of is that the old order, which is the New World Order, which has now become the old order, and we're about to have a new world order where it's a new order of freedom and prosperity and individual nations like it was back in the day, but even better than it was before, is going to rise up. But in order for that to happen, the old order is going to collapse. And that means fiat currencies and fiat stocks and all this sort of stuff. Things are going to be squeezed. Not saying that things are going to rise. Things are going to rise again. But it's going to have to be squeezed in order for things to happen. So gold is our safe bet. Now, am I saying that we should go back to the gold standard? No, not necessarily, because I think we're too far gone from those periods. But I do think that we should do what Utah did and have a form of gold standard where people are allowed to use gold and silver as currency so that we can have options against the fiat currency. But in the meantime, invest in gold, because gold always goes up when confidence in fiat currency and the old way of doing the economy goes down. So that's my thing. But I say hallelujah to r/Wall Street Bets. I support them, but again, I say be cautious. I will not advocate investing, a ton of money in GameStop. Unless, of course, you're part of the revolution. And then I say, okay, continue doing what you're doing and continue doing it until the government comes out and says, we have seen the anger, we have heard your concerns, we are backing down, and we're going to make reforms now. Not AOC Elizabeth Warren reforms, because these guys are flat out communists, but reforms which make the stock market and which make the economy in general more equal, more attainable. When I say more equal, I'm not a socialist. I'm saying more attainable. So socialists are not really socialists. They want us to all be equally poor. I want us to all have an equal chance. That's the difference between a populist and a socialist and a communist. Communists and socialists want us to all be equally poor. When they say equal, they want us to all be equally poor, like in Cuba, the former Soviet Union, Zimbabwe, Venezuela. I want everyone to have an equal chance to become successful, which is really not terribly the case. I mean, it is possible, but people like you and me work 10 times harder than those guys at the top. And when they became wealthy and rich, the system was more equal. All these big tycoons that are around now, they became rich because the system was more equal. Now, am I saying, it's all hopeless? No. I'm saying there's a chance, but we have to fight twice as hard, which I think is good because that means that we're a lot stronger. But I do feel that we all have to become equally, we all should have an equal chance to reach such heights, or even just to be middle class. I mean, buying a home, in certain parts of the world, Toronto where I am, you can almost forget it. It's like you literally have to just you have to pimp yourself, prostitute yourself in order to become serious that way. So this is what I'm talking about. And a lot of that goes back to Wall Street and Bay Street and the City of London, the defense in Paris, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying we have to get rid of hedge fund managers. I'm not saying we have to get rid of Wall Street. But I am saying we have to teach the people who do this stuff to us a lesson, and a lesson so powerful and so stinging to the economy that the powers that be surrender and do make reforms to make things easier. Having said that, invest in gold. I would say still invest in the stock market. It is at an all-time low right now. And really, there is no, it could go lower at this point because March of 2020 was when it was really, really low because of the China virus. But I still think that things will go up. But GameStop, use GameStop as a revolutionary tactic, not as a way of, oh, this is going to go on forever, because it really isn't. And with that, and finally, before I continue, I was going to forget something really important. I condemn those brokerage companies like TD Ameritrade and Robinhood for actually blocking people from investing in GameStop. This is just another censorship by big tech and by the New World Order. It's just another form of censorship. And if that's the lesson that they want to take from this, well, then things are just going to get far worse. I can tell you my brokerage company, for the time being, hasn't blocked GameStop. I don't want to tell people necessarily who I broker with because that'll make it, easier to find my assets. But with that being said, look, either bend to the knee of the people, New World Order, or the fight will just get uglier. Just take the lesson that your censorship and your restrictions and your aggression and police and arresting and lockdowns, it's not going to work. You're just making things worse. Concede. Not saying you have to destroy yourselves. Some of you I am, actually. Some of you I am. Bill Gates can destroy. Hey, yeah, some of you I am. But the system needs to be reformed and the New World Order must fall. And it will. And with that being said, this is the Arana Nation.